So hello and welcome back to iSpy 360's webinar series. I'm your host, Frederick, and today is our Tips Tuesdays session on gamification. Now we're joined again by Three Realms Digital. Now Three Realms Digital are a unique agency specializing in brand strategy and design, along with campaign creation and activation. They also work in website design, development, software development, digital technology, and innovation. They've created a team with decades of experience that co-create with their clients. Now, they have been known to apply intuitive learnings that capture expressions through data analytics. They visualize your data by combining creative ideas and design to bring them to life. To put it simply, they crunch the numbers and come up with a creative plan and content that is specifically made to your marketing needs. Today on the series, we have Craig Silver and Jonathan Swead, who focus on the direction of the business, as well as oversee the senior management team, strategy, creative, and new business. So hello, Jonathan and Craig. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Frederick.
Hi, Frederick. Thank you for having us.
It's my pleasure. You know that. Now, I know you've prepared a presentation for us, but before we kick off, I just wanted to ask you guys a few questions so we get to know a little bit more about you and how Three Realms Digital can benefit a realtor or really anyone for their marketing needs. So just in case some of our users missed our last session together, would you be able to tell us just a little bit more about what made you both get into marketing and tell us a little bit more about your background?
Sure. So my name's Craig Silver. I've been in marketing and sales, I say, for the last 15 plus years. What got me into marketing is the beauty of how sales is influenced by data, creative, and now digital. And I think those three things are really coming together in our world today. Without data, without amazing creative, and without a digital journey from a customer point of view, you can't sell. And that's kind of what got me into it. It's quite broad, but also you can really focus on specific things that really make a difference to your clients.
Yeah, well, I'm Jonathan Swead. Hi. My similar background to Craig. I come from more of the creative angle. I've been at Saatchi & Saatchi and J. Walter Thompson as art director, working on some big multinational accounts, and then worked into PR as creative. And it was a nice amalgamation as a progression to get into marketing, where I noticed that is all about data, and there was a loss of creativity within that. So that's how Craig and I joined forces. Here's the data, and I'm the creative, and it was just a great marriage.
Fantastic. Now, how did Three Realms Digital get started, and what sets you guys apart from your competitors?
Well, as John said, I think we had two really unique angles for a digital boutique agency. You need data, you need creative, and you also need the ability, obviously, to understand different parts of that data. So we look at a multitude of things. So we look at web data, we look at financial data, we look at journey data. And together that brings us to a point where you can really come up with a marketing strategy and a plan and execute that with brilliant creative. So that's how we came together, as John said. I think in terms of what makes us different and our USP is we don't only look at the strategy and the plan and executing that plan. We also look at the digital journey. So end to end, as a customer wants to engage the first time to when they want to complain, what is that journey? Because that's going to help our marketing. We also look at pricing, and we obviously kind of help teams look at, if customers are not buying on the last page, we know there could be something to do with the pricing. And also we look at the technology that's driving that. So if people are dropping off from certain pages, we really look at that in detail. And lastly is around the proposition. So often, marketers say, right, we've got a great product, but actually how you market it without the bells and whistles or the extras like free delivery or free warranties or upgrades or, just the service that comes with it. You need to package it that comes into a ready message. So that's our USP. We don't only look at the digital and the marketing and execution. We add three other key parts to that: proposition, pricing, and journey.
Yeah, and we make sure as well, before we start any project, we do sort of, we call it reconnaissance, where we actually delve into the price, promotion, proposition before we even start. Usually our teams working at agencies, they get given, this is what we want to do, this is what we want to sell, but before we even start doing that, we'll spend time looking actually to make sure that there is a market and there is a space for that, what they want. And then we will be open with them and say, actually, that's not going to work. This is what we suggest. This is our guidance. So we really, both of us are very, very hands-on, and our team as well are very hands-on.
Fantastic. Now, I know today's session is about gamification. Now, this may be a term that some of our viewers haven't heard of before. Would you be able to provide a very sort of brief definition of what gamification is?
Yeah, Craig?
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, gamification obviously is the ability for customers to access and use digital social media in a very different way. And that may mean, coming up with incentives, in terms of creating a game that people can play and obviously win some points, money, or treats. And we'll talk about some of those examples. One of the most influential games, you look at the moment, and I say games, but our generation, well, kids' generation is playing. It's called Roblox. And they're buying and selling houses and buying things within their house, like animals. And, there's real money being traded on those platforms to buy these digital assets.
Now, do you think gamification is a trend or a serious marketing strategy?
So I think we used to think that it was obviously a trend in the past, but now I think it's a strategy. I think over time we've seen that it hasn't gone away. It's actually improved and increased. You've seen, a lot of games come out, and I say games, but the way that you engage with content in a very different way and monetize it is here to stay. There's no doubt about that. Again, if you want to be different, it's not, it's probably 5–10% of companies that will use it to really be different and stick out and stand out. But I definitely think it's here to stay. I think we've seen it within our client base. Social selling and gamification is the two things that everyone's trying to look at, just to be different and stick out from the crowd.
Excellent. So I think now it would be a brilliant time to sort of hop into your presentation. Jonathan, when you're ready, do please feel free to start sharing your screen, and let's get straight into it.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, the screen share is working.
Okay, and it's all good?
Yep, perfect. Good.
So welcome to our gamification webinar. We're Three Realms Digital, we've got a small presentation to give you, and we'll start off. Well, first of all, would you want to tell you how we unlock the sales through the art of creative marketing and the science of digital technology? So how we achieve this is through accelerated growth while compressing time by collaborating with real estate brokers, teams, developers to jointly create ideas to unlock full digital assets and align them with the sales, because you can't have your sales, marketing, and different areas. So we join them together and we look at the gaps in the opportunity gaps that dynamically impact you guys, your performance, and then we implement using your data and using our creativity, and we execute through sort of a digital experience. So we're part creative specialists, part digital technologists, part data specialists. We've got proven strategies that help clients drive the vital parts of their sales that deliver the most value in the shortest amount of time. And that's the key part, is trying to accelerate your sales in a compressed time frame. So as you can see from this slide, you're seeing now, and you'll probably realize that you're doing this because 85%, and it's probably a bigger chunk of that as well, if you're thinking globally, they'll still use out-of-date practices to deliver your sales. So, and gaming is driving the change in the real estate ecosystem. So it's more important than ever to deliver a dynamic engagement that provides instant access to personalized information, products, services. Customers are always looking for, regardless of device or channel. So you can unify that customer experience. So we say exceptional digital experiences happen when real estate agents, brokers, brands are where their customers are to engage in ways that they don't actually realize were possible. So, and gaming presents opportunities to real estate agents that you need to shift your focus, providing more of an experience in order to attract those buyers and sellers who, from research and data that we've seen, and tell our real estate agents that they're retreating from the brokerages or Zillow now, because just purely for cost.
Right, and just to take that into more detail, so what we can see in the middle here is around traditional. You talk about, you know, estate agency and real estate, really using the traditional means to market, which is 100% still critical. And that is around, you know, your website or your brochure, your show suite, and your database. You know, using that is critical. And then obviously we've mentioned the listing sites that are all around the world that we use, you know, Zillow in the US or Rightmove in the UK as an example. Those four are always your bread and butter, and we would, you know, definitely encourage everyone to still use those mechanisms. We then take it a bit further. So you can see on the yellow piece, that's all about taking it to the next level. So we talk about, you know, these platforms offer not only listings, but advertising opportunities. And we really go into those and use them to make sure that, you know, real estate are using the best methods to bring the properties to their customers, as well as paid search, paid social, paid display, and so forth. And I think for me, that's critical. You know, what we've seen is a big change in leads coming through the likes of Zillow versus coming through social media, paid search, Google, Bing, and other channels. And I think that's important we work to take that to the next level. And then the third piece, which if budget allows, you know, there still is the opportunity to look at billboards and local marketing. We have a lot of, you know, companies, customers that really want to, you know, use the area around where the development or the houses are to market their development or property. And that means, you know, buses, you know, the underground or the subway and those types of things where relevant. So again, that's kind of our strategy. And I think what's interesting is that is not enough yet, actually. So, you know, there is a great need for changing. This is where gamification comes into it, to add on to this great way of thinking, you know, the core base and then coming out, you know, to the local areas. So we need to stand out, as you said, and I think that's where gamification helps us do that. Just to add to this, you know, at Three Realms Digital, we love winning the hearts and minds through a digitally native experience. And again, we've kind of selected 5 key things that we think is important to add on to the channels that we've just discussed, you know, talking about value and really looking at, you know, the value that someone's buying into. It could be the area, it could be the price point, could be things around it like, you know, shopping centers or coffee shops. That's really interesting to really go by. So we really look at those. The buying experience, so working with your sales team to really make sure that the buying experience is the best it can be. Because if we are marketing and advertising digitally, we want them to have the best experience in person when they are buying this, online or offline. And you know, working with iSpy 360, they're great tools that we use to make the experience, specifically now with COVID and lockdown, more enjoyable and actually seeing things that they want. Immediate fulfillment. This is about, you know, people wanting to get in touch directly, immediately. They want things now. So, you know, live chat is a great way of doing that as an example. And then anytime and real time. And, you know, as I said, anywhere is critical. So people, you know, agents being on the road, you've got to be onto your phone, you've got to be online, you've got to be there. So WhatsApps and those types of tools are needed in the journey. And the last thing is around personalized moments. And again, gamification, which we're going to talk about now, is great for this. You can really create amazing moments through games. And again, we'll talk a lot about, you know, what else is it besides the property you're buying? You're buying in a neighborhood. So you're buying into the coffee shops and the gyms and the schools and the parks and so forth. And there's great incentives to really look through the way that we want to look at games. And John will take you through some of those now.
Yeah. And yeah, customer nowadays, and it'd be even more in the future, customers want an effortless and seamless experience when and where they choose to engage. So instead of putting it into their faces, they want to be able to action when it suits them. So this is where gamification comes in. It's about creating a incentivization for clients to do things. It's not new technology, but the recent technology, it has allowed us to innovate the way we engage with our clients and consumers, creating a more user-friendly method. So the gamification elements tap into 8 core human drivers to highly motivate users to engage, complete actions, move up levels, and share the platform with their networks. The game is created using human-focused design as opposed to function-focused design, placing a strong emphasis on the elements that drive human behavior. So there's 2 strategies you can work with, one to consumer and one in-house gaming. We know some real estate agents, especially in the UK, they offer incentives like win a dinner for 2 in a fancy in a lovely restaurant, or win an iPad for the top salespeople, or weekends away. So it really gives can really open up for in-house gamification and external. So on the screen now, you can see the 8 human drivers, and now we know, as in this incentivization, we know what gamification is and how it can drive human behaviors among the generations to increase loyalty. And you might be thinking, why apply this to our sector? Well, the real estate industry is really interesting, that it's extremely dependent on referrals. In fact, in the past decade, over 60% of home buyers and sellers stated that they were referred to by their chosen agents. That's according to the NAR. And an industry so dependent on referrals is by cause also dependent on their clients' loyalty to them, which brings us to the main point here. Real estate agencies who are investing in gamified loyalty are engaging their clients in increasing referrals and boosting brand awareness. So it's the vast majority of you guys perform some type of loyalty program anyway, whether it's gift cards or referral, gift cards for referral, sorry, gift baskets at closing. So they take a lot of time to organize and deliver. So real estate agents are quickly catching on and are increasing their loyalty efforts while decreasing the time put in with a gamified loyalty platform. So when you apply gamification to loyalty, your result is a community of loyalty platform users who are motivated to engage and bring new users to the platform. You turn your customers who have already had a very positive experience with your brokerage or your sales team or buying team, and you turn them into advocates without even them asking you to do so. The platform drives the user's behavior and provides an enjoyable experience they're willing to share with their friends and family. So it's always important to give off the best experience to your buyers and sellers, so because they will then refer you, as you probably know already. And a common question we get asked is what are the differences of motivators and habits between different generations? So this is a really relevant question that we get asked. So according to again NAR in September 2020 just gone, 50% of home buyers were between the ages of 35 and 55, and 31% were 34 and under, while 20% were 56 and over. The industry can't invest money or time into a product that actually doesn't serve all generations. So just a brief, just in case you're a bit confused on sort of the different generations and their namings. Generation X, this group consists of people born between the 60s and early 80s, and 55% of them stating that fun is an important loyalty driver, again, according to rare statistics. Similar to baby boomers, this generation is very active on social media, with over 75% at least have one social media and 81% having a Facebook account, so which is huge. And this is the big one, Millennials. This group represents young adults between 18 and 34. It may not come to surprise, but 60% of that generation rate fun as high loyalty driver. More than 80% have at least one form of social media. And the most powerful statistic within this group is 95% of millennials state that their friends are the most credible source of information when making a purchase. So that's how it's very crucial to turn your clients into advocates and provide them with an amazing experience that they will tell their friends about. Cool. See, in the background is a very simple gamification, we call it, is what's missing game that can open up a new network of people, which is very simple, very catchy. So you can do, so it's what's missing. So you have to decide, and you link it into a local coffee shop or local cafe. And again, it helps boost both local businesses, and that's always very important as well. So gamification through Instagram, TikTok, Facebook hold enormous potential for your business. So you need to assess the games and content to help you establish a warm relationship with your potential clients. So another idea which we are developing currently is a virtual escape room where we will lock people in to find clues, and they will have a certain amount of time to get out. Again, these sort of ideas we call gamification, where it's very PRable. People want to try and join in because the clues are very fun. It could be outside, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and the team that gets or the family or the people looking around the apartments will the people that do the quickest time possible will win something. So there's always that incentivization to get them in and excite them. And so it's slightly different, and it's an unconventional way of a viewing experience. So this is together. This is great. Again, we would team this up with organic social media through Facebook, Instagram, even TikTok, and we would put a paid advert out on, again, Instagram, just to create awareness for it, to get people to come and view it. And again, you can do this. This works even better live, and you can do that with your brokers and salespeople to get them in for your open days, which is a really great experience. So again, the next one is sorry about that. Again, we can create a Father Christmas treasure hunt, again with incentives to take part, or Easter egg hunts. The list is endless. I Spy 360 has just over Halloween created a treasure hunt, and they had to find certain characters, which went really well with them. And then again, what we're finding now, we're taking that next step in the evolution of virtual gaming. This is for the we've created a immersive luxury staging house, specifically for the subprime luxury properties that you can sell, especially in this time as well, where it's very difficult to go and see properties. We've collaborated with art galleries, classic car dealers. So when they walk in to the driveway, there's a classic car, or and art. And as you can see, there's whilst the viewer can walk through the augmented reality house, they can click on where the furniture's from, and it will tell you where it's from, or click on the art, and it will tell you where the tell you about the art. And again, you can, if you like it and you buy it, you can actually buy those paintings, buy those furniture. So it all creates a very seamless and experience, and it makes it really immersive and really actionable.
Yeah, and just to add to that, John, I think VR and AR, those two pieces are also key to come into this. If you're able to use those new technologies, you actually are physically in the house, and it feels like you're physically in the place where you're looking for these treasure hunts, or clicking on these photographs or pictures, as John mentioned. So I think the technology with gamification is making it really come to life. And we've seen that, across multi-industries of using this great technology.
Oh, and again, as we've said before, yeah, AR. This is it still comes under gamification. That you can literally, while you're building your house or you're developing it, or you can do it through staging. There's many apps out there now that you can choose, drop images, drop furniture into the platforms, and take a photo of what your house can look like. So when you're in the build phase, you can get everything together, and you know exactly how it's going to look whilst in the build stage, and you can get everything delivered all at once without delay, creating huge amounts of efficiency. Sometimes when you need to have your whilst your house is done, previously you would have to wait for it to be sort of painted and finished before you start ordering everything, because you don't know. With these apps now, you can actually get everything done as you just put as your offer is accepted. You can start the process of buying. We'd like to thank you for listening to our webinar, and if you've got any questions, we'd like to take them.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. That's a really sort of insightful webinar. I've learned so much about gamification. I didn't know really that much about it beforehand. Now, we do have a few questions from our audience. Would it be all right for me to just ask them through to you?
Sure, no problem.
Sure. Lovely. So our first question is, how could the real estate industry specifically use gamification?
So I think we've taken you through some of the examples. Obviously, these treasure hunts, getting you into the house or the apartment that you're looking to purchase, incentivizing you with prizes if you obviously find something. So I think those few things are critical in using it. And I think we've seen over time that the real estate industry are looking for new ways to market their services and their property. So I think, using gamification and building something unique for them by incorporating some of the new technologies really helps.
Excellent. So do you also think that creativity can be as powerful as presentation, or could it be misinterpreted as a gimmick?
So I think creative is critically important. As John mentioned, we use data and we make data creative. I think creative is incredibly important, as well as the message that you're sending out and the data that comes with it. So we love feedback. So any feedback from a potential purchaser of a property, we love to hear what they love, what they don't like, what they love about the area, so that we can then use that into the messaging, but really making sure that the creative is in different ways. These days, we use iSpy 360 a lot around how they take, the reality of seeing a property, walking through the property on your own, all the way down to imagery and video. Those all, things are critically important. We use drone footage as an example. So I think it's all coming to, people want to see things as they would normally see it if they can't be at the property before they're actually having to go for the final decision when they buy one.
Yeah, and also we look at we also prime our agents with certain colloquial questions that they drop in, like do you have dogs, family, sort of age group, schools, do you like to go to the gym, fitness, but it's all done in a way that it sort of eases the client, and then they type the that information into Salesforce or their CRM platform, and then we can drive personalized newsletters targeted directly to them. So if we know there's a lot of people that have got dogs in that area, we can then drive newsletters to those people. Say there's dog groomers in the local area, this is perfect for you. There's dog groomers, there's a great park, there's dog camps or whatever that you can think of around the dogs, and it helps them feel comfortable in that area to get them to sell it.
Excellent. Now, is there a way to apply gamification to a marketing strategy if someone had a low budget?
Yes, as again, what we've said before, you can online. There are plenty of sort of free games, like again the what's missing in the house, the outside front side of the house. It's you can take photos, and with there's free apps that we can sort of remove certain images from it, sort of the door number or the or flowers or windows. They probably noticed that one, but there are lots of cost-effective ways of doing it, and especially with social media, likes of Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, to push it out on those social media outlets. It just helps them basically get away from the Zillows, the Trulias, the Redfins, because now Zillow's now creating their own sort of estate agency, shall we say. So you don't have to really compete with them, and using geo targeting tags like hashtag your local area, using all of those, using the hashtags of local businesses to get them to re-tag and re-push out. So there's lots of ways to make it much more cost effective for you guys.
Fantastic. Now, are there any negatives to gamification?
I wouldn't say negatives, but I think there's some watch outs. So we talk about data and privacy, making sure that whoever's coming in, potentially downloading an app, if you build an app as a game, or obviously on your platform, that you are, one, collecting the data in a very secure way, and two, is that people aren't taking advantage of it. We know the dark, deep web is dangerous. So I think our guidance always is to make sure you've got the technology to support it, the safety, the security, and also the education around that. So making sure whoever is involved or playing these things, the risks that come with it. Obviously, the stuff we do within the real estate industry is quite secure, we're not really worried. It's when it goes out and anyone can access those games at any point in time from anywhere that you really want to watch out to make sure that you provide a buffer that says, no, we don't want those people in, we only want people that we know personally. So I think it's more watch out than major issues in the industry.
Fantastic. Now, my last question for today is, where do you see the gamification and real estate marketing go in the next 15 to 20 years?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, very good question. I think personally that it's going to explode. I think we've shown you the traditional ways of marketing are already changing, obviously using different digital tools, but more importantly, this gamification linked with VR, AR, and all these great new companies that are coming up, TikTok and so forth, are just creating a different world for the real estate industry to actually take advantage of. It's real life. You don't always have to be in the property, but you can get the same impact. So I just think we're at the start of it.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for joining me today. It's been really wonderful having you back and being able to go through gamification, following on from our previous marketing session. So thank you for coming back and speaking about this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Frederick. Thank you for having us, and thanks to iSpy 360. Really appreciate it.
We'll always have you back. Now, for everyone watching, thank you so much for coming along to today's session. We'll be back again on Friday for our future Friday session. So until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep it 360. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye.
Bye.